in the beginning, we have to understand the story. How the church started was because these guys, they received this power to preach, and they preached with power, and uh, the church spread, and people were being saved. And so in all history, it's been going on like that. And even throughout all the corruption of the church, evil always multiplies. And even the apostles and the first leaders of the church, they predicted, and Jesus himself predicted that many false teachers would come and claim that they were serving God, but they would bring false gospel and false doctrines, and they would lead people astray. And that's what we see happening all over the place. And even unbelievers can understand that when they look at people and they have the curse when they call someone a fake Christian. And that's kind of a jab because nobody's perfect. Um, so that's something that that's a term that I wouldn't throw around lightly, but it comes to mind when I see a lot of these churches with these some of these doctrines that they're teaching. It's like they're throwing the Bible out and trying to reinvent God in their own image a little bit. So I think a lot of people understand that. Um, but the message that to get back to the message that I was talking about, um, that this was prophesied. Well, this is how I look at it. Evil and good are both multiplying in the earth. And before Christ, evil was pretty much just like locked in the earth and like very comfortable, and God would send his messengers, but the devil was digging in and getting comfortable, to describe it in those terms. But when Jesus came, when Jesus sacrificed himself and rose from the dead, um now that's like that opened up like a door, and holiness began flooding the earth. And every day souls are being won to the faith and people are being saved. And even though wickedness always continues to grow also in the earth, um, the word of God also continues to grow and to spread in the earth. So the thing is though that we don't have an infinite earth to live in. Our world is a finite uh, space. So eventually, all the powers of the world, this is what it says right here. It says, "My determination is to gather the nations that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them mine indignation." So God has said, it is my plan to gather the nations, to assemble the kingdoms, so that he may pour his indignation and his fierce anger, and that the earth will be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. Because God really hates evil, but he bears with it. And this is his plan. He's bearing with it in a way, but he's also making war, and he's staking his claim so that in the end, all the people of God that have been born through Jesus Christ, they will be saved from the just utter annihilation of all evil. So, so this is where we are now. But eventually, it's just a fact that good and evil in the earth are going to come to a place where they're, it's like maximum pressure, and there's not, it's like there's not room for two of us anymore. And so in that moment, it's like either God or the devil has to cede some ground. And I don't know, I think that just seems like to me like the if you could say that there's a moment when the apocalypse would happen, or like the end of the world and the judgment of God. That's what I have. Just that's what I picture. Just God finally he's let it go on long enough, and but before that happens, though, obviously it will get really bad. So in Revelation, it talks about how men are forced to worship the beast and wear his number and wear his mark, and so you can just imagine what kind of situation you see certain situations going on even today where that kind of stuff is happening. And I'm not going to get into too many examples, but I did have something in mind. I don't want to talk about it on the stream. So anyway,